Welcome to the show. My name is Jeremy Poole, and I'm the host of The Moment on Real Estate Social, where we explore and celebrate the necessary transformational process one must go through to achieve a very high level of success. Today, we have the great pleasure of hanging out with Jeff Latham of Latham Realty Unlimited. Thank you so much for being on the show, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I first met Jeff on the 19th. Had the honor of hanging out with him and sharing the panel with him for an event that we did called the 7-Figure Lifestyle, and been wanting to have a chance to meet this guy face to face and learn more about him. I've heard nothing but fantastic things. Jeff, as you know, the show is called The Moment. Typically, people go through a forging process, a process of difficult circumstances that allowed them to learn necessary keystone lessons that allowed them to evolve and become who they are.
Gotcha. So as far as like difficult circumstances, we can start back. And I started selling real estate in about 2002.
Okay.
And that was when I was 22 years old, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And started doing pretty well and got to about 27 years old, which was right around 2007, where I was selling 35 homes a year on my own and making about $180,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And I naturally did what any wise 27-year-old would do, and I spent all that money and invested it in my truck. Had this big-ass monster truck, had 38-inch tires, 9-inch suspension lift. I mean, it was awesome. I think I sold that thing for like 18 grand a couple years ago and traded in. But
wow.
Anyway, what followed 2007 was 2008,
mm-hmm.
what I like to call Armageddon. And I went from making about $180,000 a year selling 35 homes, 37 homes-ish a year,
mm-hmm.
to 8.
Wow.
I went from making, well into the six figures, $180,000 a year to $45,000.
Jeez.
With, the lifestyle and the budget of that. And gosh, I remember like just no matter how much energy or force I would put into trying to create an income for my family, it was just like swimming upstream.
Wow.
To where I would just I remember laying on my back on my couch, just feeling helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife, I had some tough conversations with her, where one time she told me, she says, maybe you should get the 3-letter word, a job.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
It was tough.
Yeah.
Right? So just going through that was a challenge. And so fast forward, I guess that was probably a defining moment,
mm-hmm.
because I felt like I was invincible, and then 08 came. And then so 2009 followed, 2008 of course, and I seen an email come across my email, and it said, learn to sell REO properties, because the only people that were really making money in real estate at that time were REO agents, bank-owned agents. And so I flew down to Florida with my wife to what was called a super conference.
Yeah. And
I learned how to sell, or I went to this convention on how to sell bank-owned properties. And I stayed after for an event at this super conference that my first coach, Craig Proctor, put on. Mm. And there was agents up on the stage that were selling 200, 300, 400, 500 homes a year at the time.
Wow.
And I didn't know people sold that many homes. And I thought if you sold over 50 homes a year, you're the best in the world. Right? And then it came time for them to close us on coaching, and it was $1,000 a month, and I had 2 credit cards maxed out, to the brim. And I asked my wife, I said, should I do it? And she says, yeah, go for it. And I said, I will be on that stage. Mm. And, fast forward a year later. So I signed up for coaching. I gave him my credit card. I was hoping that there was enough money to pay for it, right? And I just went all in. And fortunately, it went through. Hired my coach, learned how to generate business and leads and sell homes to people that didn't know me. And then we just grew from there, to 2010. We sold 55 homes, 2011, 104, 2012, 148, 13, 178, 2014, 202, 2015, 228, and last year we did 267 homes.
Wow.
That was kind of a long way around, but to share with you, like losing everything quote unquote, if you want to call it that, like going through that struggle, it kind of made me fearless.
Yeah.
Because I still had a roof over my head. Mm-hmm. I still had food on the table. Mm-hmm. I still had what was most important, and that's my friends and family. And I'm not afraid to go back there. I don't want to, but I've been there, and it's not that bad. Like, it's I'm not afraid of it.
You can take it.
I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can bounce right back.
Wow.
So I guess going through that was really a defining moment, because I've felt that pain, which is pretty insignificant compared to what other people go through. Sure. Right? And then 2012, my buddy Isaac got me dialed in on, gave me a book called The Miracle Morning. Maybe it was 2013-ish. And that sat in my briefcase for about 4 months, and then I read it, became good buddies with Hal, and started really focusing on personal development. And then from there, I started hanging out with people that were growth-oriented, and that's really caused the expansion.
Great. So you sold 278 homes, you said, last year?
267.
267. And how big is your team currently?
Currently, it's probably 15 people.
15 people.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Congrats. That's great. And so where are you?
Thank you.
Primarily? Are you all over, or?
Probably North Snohomish County.
North Snohomish County. Okay.
Yeah, a little town called Arlington.
Okay, I like that place. What is one thing you wish you knew when you were younger? Looking back now, all the stuff you've learned, all the stuff you've been through, the good and the bad, what's one thing you wish that you could go back and take with you?
Probably just not to be afraid.
Not to be afraid.
Yeah. Fear is just an illusion. And with every challenge in life, there's always a gift in it. And there's always a lesson. And there's always something great there.
Right.
And fear is just an illusion. It's an irrational fear,
yes,
right?
Yes.
There's two types of fears in this world. There's rational and irrational fear. And the difference is, like, a rational fear is, maybe I shouldn't jump off that cliff without a parachute.
Okay.
And an irrational fear is, maybe I shouldn't go talk to that person about buying or selling a home or invest in that marketing. And a rational fear keeps you alive, yet an irrational fear keeps you from living.
Yeah, right. There you go. I like that a lot. That's good. It's really good.
I stole it from someone.
Okay. You should say, they should say, yes, I just made that up now. I made it up for the moment. So you're fearless. You do what needs to be done, regardless of if you're afraid or if you're uncomfortable. Are there things that you should have done that you did not do that you now regret not doing?
Are there things I should have done that I did not do that I regret not doing? I don't know, because life has worked out the way it's supposed to be, right? I don't really have any regrets. I mean, I guess if there's something I could have done different is I would have maybe proposed to my wife sooner. Okay. I don't know if I would have had children sooner. I love them. They're great, because they're still young now, right? I would have bought more real estate sooner. Okay. I would have definitely bought more homes.
Gotcha. And so you have a pretty good size portfolio now?
I don't know, it's a couple million.
A couple million? Okay, yeah. Great.
It's starting. We just started the acquisition a year ago.
Cool. Yeah. Right on. And is that through your company? Is that a separate project?
Yeah, we have an investment team. So we own a commercial building, couple rentals. Okay. And that's our new focus. Awesome. Really is just building out the horizontal income.
Sure. Love it. Yeah. What's one dream you've achieved that you're perhaps the most proud of?
Probably recently is completing my second Ironman. Okay. Yeah, and I shaved 2 hours off my time.
Wow. That's a pretty big shift.
Yeah, knocked it out 13 hours and 28 minutes.
I'm into fitness. I work out every day. I don't think I would ever attempt that race. What makes you want to do something like that? Because it seems like it's just painful.
Yeah, it is. I think it's expansion to really just see what we're made of. I've seen other people do it, and I just have this philosophy: if someone else has done it, then I can do it. Yeah. So just wanting to see if you can. Yeah, and the growth and the expansion. I mean, I guess if I rewind, what happened is my wife started running back about 4 years ago. She was running 3 years ago. She's running a half marathon a month.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was probably 196 pounds, 32% body fat, and, you know, drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes. I was like, that's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Why would someone run?
Sure.
It doesn't look like fun.
Right.
That was me before personal development, before growth.
Right.
And then my best friend challenged her to a race in Hawaii for a half marathon. I thought, well, if he's going to do it, then I'll do it. And so I signed up for it, hopped on Pinterest, found a quick plan on 8 weeks to a half marathon, ran the half marathon, and when I crossed that finish line, I got really emotional. I mean, it was a big accomplishment, and like all the people cheering for you and stuff, and from there I started running half marathons. And then the weird side of me, I'm really competitive. You know, my wife is so fast. I mean, she can run them in an hour and 30 minutes. Like, she takes first place in her age group, and for women, and she's beating all the dudes. And I just couldn't catch her. And she wouldn't pitch me too much shit, but enough to where it was like, okay, I'll just go do an Ironman.
Yeah.
So, talk to me when you do an Ironman, right?
There you go.
And that's just my ego's way of helping me go there. And so then jumping into the Ironman, I did a half Ironman, then a full, roped a bunch of my buddies into it. And now there's like a bunch of us realtors across the nation that are doing them.
That's awesome.
You really get to see what you're made of. You get to peer into the depth of your soul and get into the pain cave.
The pain cave.
Yeah.
That sounds like a wonderful place.
It actually is.
What's the hardest, or I should say, what's the best part about the Ironman? Because I have some friends who have done some things like that, and all of them have just tremendous experiences with it.
It's the consequence. The consequence of an Ironman is your energy gets elevated, your fitness gets elevated. Therefore, when you have more energy, you can go and you vibrate at a higher level, and you're able to attract the right people into your world, and you're able to have more energy to go dominate business, which actually you make more money. So I associate running and pounding the pavement, and it allows me to make more money, to lead people better, and to inspire others. And then all of a sudden, you get all these Facebook messages of people who are saying, because of you or your posts, I decided to go compete in an Ironman, or I decided to run, or I've lost 20 pounds. And that's something I wasn't expecting or forecasting to happen. And
Interesting.
it's weird. Like I was on the back porch the other day just journaling, and I was just writing about this concept of the lighthouse versus the tugboat, and just about doing awesome things, right, and inspiring others. And all of a sudden, a Facebook message comes through, and this gal says, "Hey, I don't know why you post what you post on Facebook, but I just want to let you know I bought my second investment property, and it's because of your post. Thank you."
Wow.
And I just started crying. I started like just bawling. Weird, you know, sun setting off my back porch. I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's through contribution. It's through, so what's the best thing about the Ironman is I feel like when we go and do and achieve big, giant goals, it gives others permission.
Bingo. That's it right there. I think when you let your own light shine, and I forgot the quote, but I'm sure you've heard it before, when you let your own light shine, it gives others permission to do the exact same thing. And I think every human being, and I've been saying this ever since I was a kid, I feel greatness within me. And I feel that everybody else has that same greatness within them. The more that we support each other, the more that we promote each other, the more that we're willing to step outside our own comfort zone and be fearless, do the thing that we feel resistance. I feel like if you feel resistance about something, that's the thing that's for you, and you should do that thing. And when you do that thing, for instance, maybe doing the Ironman, maybe that was your thing.
Yeah.
And you just released so much power and energy from that has now influenced and inspired countless others who are watching you.
Yeah, and that's the gift. I mean, it's tied into like the 6 basic human needs, right? And it's certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and contribution, and love and connection. Then you got contribution, and then you got growth. And a lot of people focus on significance and certainty.
Yeah.
But it's actually, if you focus on the inside out and picture it a bullseye, when you focus on contribution and growth, then all the other human needs get met, right? And that's just one of my forms of contribution is just to live an unapologetically awesome life and do epic shit.
What does it say it again?
I love to live an unapologetically awesome life.
Nice.
You know, a lot of people are like, why are you doing this? What are you striving for? And it's that message that I get from that person. It's like, you inspire me. I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm running a race next week. It's my team. It's, you know, I influence my team because I do this thing, this stuff. They're running alongside me, and we can't help eliminate in others what we tolerate in ourselves.
That's it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Who are your heroes?
It's a good question. You know, I have a lot of them, right? I could say there's a guy on my team, David, or even Eric. You know, I look at certain qualities that people have, like how dialed in they are with their family and their children. I mean, I really appreciate that. Or I look at David Goggins, like how he has that level of fitness where he's just a badass, right? Or I look at my buddy Jesse Elder, who is so tied in with faith and meditation and allowing things to just kind of come into his world within 24 hours of meditation and just being plugged in to where desire meets expectation. And I just take what I see out of people, like their superpowers, and I kind of put it in and build a recipe and focus on that. So my hero is really who I'm becoming.
I like that.
It's myself, right? And the growth and the expansion and who I'm going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because I'm focused on becoming a superhuman.
Me too.
And I'm raising little superhumans too.
I like you, Jeff. This is good stuff. No, that's great. I mean, honestly, I feel like in this world, in this lifetime, we as humans, we've been given free will.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us are stuck in this mental cage in which I have this job, I have these children, I have these credit cards, I have all this stuff, and therefore I have to be this.
Yeah.
And I am so completely against that. I 100% believe that I can do just about anything I put my mind to. And that's what the show's all about. That's what Real Estate Social is about. Those are the kinds of people I try to surround myself with. And so I'm so happy to have you on the show to talk about these topics. But not only talk about it, but be an example and say, you know, if you got something on your heart, if you got something on your mind, whether it's business, whether it's faith-based, or whether it's relational, do it.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you know, we have one life, so why not take it to the absolute max?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for being on the show, brother.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.